There's been a silent killer that has been growing in recent decades. Plastics. They've already infiltrated our bodies and are in our blood, lungs, stomach, all the way down to our cells. How do they get into our body? What threat do they pose? I've composed all the information you need on plastics in this video. First, let's delve into the background of plastics. Plastics are classified as petrochemicals, which means they're chemical products derived from crude oil refining. Once refined, plastics can be molded into just about any shape imaginable. Combine this with their relative inexpensiveness, and plastics are the perfect material for industries to exploit. During the manufacturing process, a plethora of harmful chemicals are generated. Heavy metals, fluorinated compounds, and a toxic chemical called dioxin are just a few byproducts. Notably, dioxin was one of the main chemicals used in Agent Orange, which was used in the Vietnam War and gave rise to crippling birth defects for years after it was deployed. Plastics have become a substantial driver of the fossil fuel industry. In 2019, the plastic industry produced carbon emissions equal to 189 coal plants, and by 2050, this figure is projected to escalate to 615 coal plants. In chemistry, plastics are large chain molecules called polymers, which are composed of thousands of subunits called monomers via strong covalent chemical bonds. Polyethylene is the most common plastic used due to its lightweight, strong, and transparent nature. The material's strength is also its downfall in the latter of its life. Large chain molecules take longer to degrade and can range from 10 to 1,000 years to fully break down. As plastics are weathered down, microscopic fragments chip off the larger body, creating plastics termed microplastics. Microplastics are defined as particles of plastic less than 5 millimeters across. Many microplastics are so small the bare eye can't see them. This allows them to infiltrate our bodies undetected through drinking water, air, and food. There's evidence of microplastics all around the world, from Mount Everest to the Mariana Trench. They're everywhere. They're so small that a gust of wind picks them up and circulates them into the air we breathe and all around the world. It is estimated that 51 trillion microplastics have already infiltrated our ocean ecosystems. The primary method plastics enter the ocean is from direct dumping into rivers. The ocean cleanup is progressively tracking plastic entering the ocean through rivers worldwide. The red dots represent rivers with significant plastic emissions, while the blue dots represent minor levels. Many developing Asian nations are the primary contributors towards marine plastic pollution, as their industrializing economies produce enormous waste and they don't have the infrastructure to properly dispose of it. Zooplankton are a keystone species that has been especially affected by microplastics. Zooplankton are at the bottom of the food chain, meaning their well-being is essential for marine ecosystem health. Zooplankton mistake colorful microplastics as their primary food source, phytoplankton, and consume extremely small pieces. Those bright green blotches are fluorescent pieces of plastic scientists have found inside of zooplankton. Because zooplankton are eating microplastic, the entire food chain is adding microplastic to their diet. The global fish market is a $230 billion industry that provides communities with nutrient-packed seafood, but immense amounts of plastic are tainting the source. As more plastic is dumped into the ocean, the microplastic concentration is only going to grow and worsen the situation. The threat microplastics pose to human health has just started being studied. Their presence was recently detected in 2004 by Professor Richard Thompson. In a 2022 study by Dick Vitak, a professor of ecotoxicology at the University of Amsterdam, 17 of 22 healthy blood donors had microplastics contained in their blood. Similarly, 11 of 13 lung samples taken from healthy patients were found to have microplastics inside of them. There are over 10,000 documented chemicals used to make plastics, of which 2,400 are classified as a threat to human health. These chemicals are well researched, and their effects range from asthma to cancer. The main concern is that once microplastics enter the body, harmful chemicals will leach into the body and cause cancer. Most of the population is in the dark about this situation. According to a nationwide survey conducted by Insight Express, 72% of the American public was unaware plastics were made from petroleum products. Additionally, Americans believe that 38% of plastics are being recycled. The reality is, less than 6% is recycled. The rest is landfilled or littered. Extrapolating from this information, I doubt more than 0.1% of the population is aware of the threat of microplastics. There's only one way to stop microplastics, and that is a global ban of plastic production. Bans are already starting to be seen around the globe. In 2018, Australia banned the use of plastic bags. In 2020, the UK banned plastic straws and drink stirrers. Most recently, India has banned plastic straws, cutlery, and food packaging. To help, you can vote in your local community to pass measures banning or restricting plastic use. You can also reuse plastic items you get from the restaurant or the supermarket, and buy reusable bags to mitigate plastic use altogether. Remember, your actions are very important and can make waves in your community. The people around you will notice and follow suit. Thank you all for listening. If you found my content interesting, feel free to like and subscribe, as I've got a lot more interesting content planned here real soon. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.